Can you still? Okay, one thing I wanted to, before we get into that, before I forget, Wednesday morning, can you do it Wednesday morning? Yeah, and I'll take the rest of the week. Yeah, because I have a Zoom meeting at 9:30. It's 10:30 Eastern Standard Time, but 9:30 here. So, and it's an actors Zoom thing that I want to participate in. So, and that's at 9:30 on the 16th. I think that's Wednesday, right? Yeah. Oh, it's Thursday. It's Thursday. Let me check for sure. Let me bring up. Okay. Hello, YouTube audience. Okay. Okay. Well, we can talk. Can we talk afterwards about it? Okay. Okay. Sounds great.
Good morning, Acadiana. It is your daily news read. We're coming to you live right now, and I'll be joined in just a second by our volunteer newsreader, Bruce Cohen. Bruce, are you there?
I am here in flesh and blood.
Well, thanks again for reading the newspaper today.
Yeah, entirely welcome.
And I'm going to let you take it away, and I'm going to go and
Thank you.
listen on the air. Thanks, Bruce.
Thanks, Matt. Well, welcome, listening audience. Hopefully, everybody is safe and sound in their homes or wherever they're quarantined. Today is Monday, April 13th, 2020, and we still have no idea, or maybe a faint idea, of when we'll be able to get back to some normal aspect of life. But for right now, we're still hunkering down at our homes and hopefully staying safe, and hopefully everybody in your families are staying safe and healthy. Well, being the Easter weekend, we just passed, this first story is called Uploading Easter by Megan Wyatt. Lafayette Bishop leads Sunday service after loss of mother and deacon to the coronavirus or the COVID-19. A month after contracting the novel coronavirus, I should be able to say that without any hesitation. Coronavirus, Bishop Alton Gatelin led his congregation in worship on Easter Sunday. Gatelin, pastor of Gethsemane Church of God in Christ, and please let AOCinc.org know if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, knows all too well the toll COVID-19 is having on the Black community in Louisiana. Not only is a Lafayette man still recovering from the virus himself, he's also mourning the loss of his mother and one of his deacons, both of whom died from COVID-19. So my brothers and sisters, those of you who have lost a loved one, those of you who have loved ones in the hospitals, on ventilators, or maybe sheltered at home and they are fighting for their lives, let me encourage you that the Master became the first of those who were resurrected. Gatelin told his congregation during his Easter sermon, and if we lose anybody, they too shall be resurrected. Gatelin took to the pulpit on Sunday morning with fewer than 10 people in the church, just those helping to make the digital service a reality, to share the biblical message of hope during a time of pain. He had just gone through one of the hardest months of his life. His mother died just 1 week before on Palm Sunday in a Shreveport hospital. Because Gatelin still has not tested negative for the coronavirus, he could not visit her in the hospital or attend her funeral service. Instead, he was allowed to say goodbye during a private visitation ahead of the funeral. It is so difficult, Gatelin said in an interview after Sunday service. It is so difficult because, in the African American community, funerals were a way of expressing your love and your concern for your neighbor. And now even that has been taken away. Gatelin, who wore a sage-themed face mask before and after the Easter service, said he is one of the many people who have tested positive for COVID-19 after attending a predominantly Black conference on March 12th through the 14th in Shreveport. Willis Curley, a deacon at Gethsemane, also tested positive and later died from the coronavirus. After returning home from the conference, Gatelin said he immediately had symptoms of the virus. During his March 14th sermon, Gatelin began to become short of breath. He had to sit down, saying he felt as though he were having a heart attack. Gatelin, who turned 63 on Wednesday and has high blood pressure and diabetes, qualified for testing at the Cajun Dome. His March 17th test came back positive 1 week later. You cannot catch your breath, Gatelin said. That's when the scariest part is when you can't catch breath and you don't know why. You get up and you walk. Let's see. Okay, you get up. Okay, I'm just doing some stuff here. Says you still get short of breath easier than them, but only coughs when laughing. His temperature, which has been as high as 104 degrees, has finally returned to normal. Gatelin, under the guidance of his doctor, plans to test again for COVID-19 this week to be sure he's clear of the virus. The coronavirus is claiming a disproportionate number of Black and Latino patients across the country. Of those who have died of COVID-19 in Louisiana, 7 out of every 10 have been Black. About 32% of the state's population is African American. It's something Gatelin hopes will change that conversation surrounding healthcare in Louisiana and the United States. There are still a number of people in the hospital and who are at home sick, fighting for their lives, Gatelin said. I'm hoping we continue to see this kind of unity that we're seeing now with everybody working together after this is over. If we could find a way, and it is possible, to bring about some equity in terms of health care for everybody, regardless of your color or how much money you make, then maybe we can fix this. Galen said that while he's missed preaching to a packed room of people on Sundays, he also appreciates that his message is reaching more people through different means, through Facebook Live videos of his church services. Although he doesn't hear the immediate feedback from the congregation, those same exclamations of praise pour in through social media. Hundreds of comments popped up on the Easter Sunday Facebook video. Teach us, Bishop. I can face tomorrow because he lives. Hallelujah. Amen. Gaitlin's message served as a reminder to viewers that Black people have overcome many adversities and will also overcome the coronavirus pandemic. We are going to make it, Gaitlin said during the sermon. I am saddened this morning. I am broken this morning. I am wounded this morning. I've been crying all week long. And when I think about the goodness of Jesus and the fact that he got up from the grave, I am encouraged that I will get up one day. I'm encouraged that my mother will get up. I'm encouraged that Brother Curly is going to get up. So I just kind of want to start off with an uplifting story. All right. Just give me a second here and see where we're at. And again, hopefully everybody is safe, staying well. If you go outside, keeping social distance. So here's a report by Wilson Alexander entitled Experts Share Recovery Guidelines. While cases of the novel coronavirus in Louisiana continue to rise, many people have recovered from COVID-19. Their symptoms have dissipated, allowing them to resume their daily routines. More than 401,000 people have recovered worldwide from coronavirus as of Saturday afternoon, according to the Johns Hopkins Coronavirus Resource Center, including 31,066 in the United States. Recovery depends on a number of variables, including age, risk factor, and chronic conditions. For those who have stopped feeling symptoms, they emerge from isolation wondering about immunity to the virus and whether or not they can still transmit the disease. Health experts' understanding of the coronavirus have rapidly evolved, but at this point, they don't have the definitive answers to the concerns swirling in people's minds. But here are some of their guidelines and recommendations for those recovering from coronavirus. And the rest of the article is set up as a question and then an answer to that question. Am I still contagious if I don't have symptoms? Possibly. Coronavirus can be transmitted even when the carrier doesn't show symptoms, and doctors don't yet know how long someone retains the virus in their respiratory tract. That's very, very vital information that you need to keep at the forefront of your mind. We consider them to be less contagious, said Dr. Louis Minsky, Chief of Staff at the Baton Rouge General Medical Center. We don't know yet when they're absolutely not contagious. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the virus may be detectable for weeks after illness onset. The organization said the risk of transmission is likely much lower when someone has recovered, but the risk remains. Though the virus may stay in somebody's body, that doesn't mean that they have an active infection. Doctors recommend people continuing taking precautions to limit the spread of the disease, even if they have recovered. Can I catch COVID-19 a second time? It's not yet clear. Humans generally develop antibodies when they recover from viral infections, allowing them to fight the virus if it appears a second time. Conventional wisdom suggests someone who has recovered from coronavirus developed antibodies to the disease, but immunity varies between illnesses. With so little information about the novel coronavirus, experts don't know if someone who has recovered has immunity to future infections of COVID-19. Some people have tested positive a second time, but Dr. Michael Bolton, who specializes in pediatric infectious diseases at Our Lady of the Lake Regional Medical Center in Baton Rouge, says just because you have a positive test doesn't mean you're necessarily contagious. Doctors have also found antibodies in recovering patients. The CDC, said the immunity response to COVID-19 is not yet fully understood. We don't know when immunity is conferred on the patient or how long it may last. Minsky said, we don't know if the patient will contract the virus again at some point or whether they have immunity for life. When can I go back to work? The CDC said people can stop home isolation under 3 conditions. They must be fever-free without the use of fever-reducing medications for 72 hours. That's 3 days, folks. Other symptoms must have improved, and at least 7 days need to have passed since the illness appeared. And of course, if where you work is back up and operating. People may also lift isolation if they no longer have a fever, other symptoms have improved, and they receive 2 negative tests 24 hours apart. But doctors have limited testing resources. In other cases, experts said people may return to their families and their jobs as long as they maintain social distancing, which means staying at least 6 feet apart. Minsky said they should remain masked for another week at minimum. All this depends on stay-at-home orders as well. Using a recovered works at an essential business, he or she must work at home until Louisiana lifts its stay-at-home order. Once the state allows businesses to reopen, Minsky said, people who recover from coronavirus and meet the CDC guidelines can return to the place of work. They may still need to wear a mask. And remember that Governor John Bel Edwards first said that the 13th would be a day that we could rescind the stay-at-home order, and then he switched it to April 30th. So keep that in mind, folks, and it may be pushed longer. Can I help those who haven't recovered? The American Red Cross has started collecting plasma donations from recovered coronavirus patients in coordination with the Food and Drug Administration. Some studies have suggested convalescent plasma transfusion may help severely ill patients, but the practice has not been proven. Recovered patients can also donate blood, helping reduce a blood shortage. Last week, Jefferson Parish Sheriff's deputies donated blood through the LSU Cancer Center to assist with ongoing research in coordination with the National Cancer Institute. Minsky said blood utilization is very high amongst those sick intensive care patients. Most of all, doctors urge people to take the virus seriously. They said to continue regularly washing your hands, avoiding touching your face, maintain social distance, and wear a mask. Though Louisiana may soon reach a peak in cases, the virus has not died. We are not out of this yet, Minsky said. Until this thing has flatlined, not just flatten the curve, we're going to be utilizing these precautions to try and keep this virus from popping up again. We don't know its history. We don't know how it's going to behave going forward. All right. Let's turn to our first PSA for the morning. Canceled blood drives, coronavirus fears severely impact blood supply. FEMA, CDC identified blood donation as essential function. U.S. Surgeon General tells people to give blood, essential for patients. Coronavirus resources have severely impacted the U.S. blood supply as Vitalant and other blood centers across the country are struggling to maintain stable inventories. With school closures and workers at home, 25% of Vitalant's blood collections anticipated in March have disappeared almost overnight, and the number continues to grow. Through the end of June, Vitalant, the nation's second largest blood collector, had over 1,400 blood drives canceled, resulting in nearly 41,000 uncollected blood donations. Vitalant strongly recommends that healthy donors schedule an appointment for a donation over the coming days and weeks. Instead of donating without an appointment right now, to help us better serve donors, please call 877-25-VITAL, that's 877-258-4825, or visit vitalant.org, that's VITALANT. Vitalant has nearly 125 donation centers. They have one here in Lafayette on Bertrand Drive. Donors can also give blood at blood mobile drives, which must continue to be organized. Blood donors and mobile blood drives will be needed in the coming weeks and months to ensure a stable blood supply for hospitals. And like I said, the Lafayette Vitalant Blood Donation Center is located at 1503 Bertrand Drive. And looking back at the news, Acadiana coronavirus cases up to 921. Death toll from virus reaches 45 in the area, by Megan Wyatt. The number of known coronavirus cases in Louisiana reached 20,595 on Sunday, with 921 of those cases being in the Acadiana area. A total of 840 people have died from COVID-19, including 45 people in Acadiana. The Acadiana area is defined by the Louisiana Department of Health's Region 4, saw a 12.5% increase in deaths from the coronavirus from Saturday to Sunday, and a 5% increase in known coronavirus cases during the same time frame. The Department of Health's Region 4 includes Lafayette, St. Landry, St. Martin, Iberia, Vermilion, Acadia, and Evangeline parishes. Here's a breakdown of cases and deaths by parish. Lafayette Parish, 354 cases, 13 deaths. St. Landry Parish, 113 cases, 13 deaths. St. Martin Parish, 157 in cases, 8 deaths. Iberia Parish, 136 cases, 5 deaths. Vermilion Parish, 26 cases, 1 death. Acadia Parish, 99 cases, 5 deaths. And Evangeline Parish, 36 cases, no deaths. As of the Department of Health's update at noon Sunday, 458 of Louisiana's 2,084 hospitalized patients were on ventilators. All 64 parishes in the state have reported COVID-19 cases. Louisiana's first case was reported March 9th, and the first cases were reported in Acadiana on March 18th. And that's interesting because as of yesterday, looking at the map, there was one parish out of 64 parishes that did not have cases, but I guess one must have popped up between yesterday and this morning. So all parishes in the state are now reporting cases. Moving on, Learning Fence offers a fun way to teach. So here's a somewhat uplifting story, getting some numbers out of our head. We need to also look at what else is happening because of this pandemic. So Learning Fence offers a fun way to teach. Parents welcome educational outlet by Katie Gagliano. Stephanie LeBlanc is accustomed to cars zipping past her home at the corner of Alondo and Ayrshire Drive. But for the last week, LeBlanc has enjoyed a new kind of traffic. Neighborhood children and families trotting past the Learning Fence she erected on her property boundary. Now when she steps outside, LeBlanc is greeted by chalk drawings of cartoon cats and thank you notes scrawled on her driveway from children who stopped to review the educational posters on her fence. A corona is no match for us. Note jotted on a 100 square counting poster is the only nod to the pandemic that necessitated the fence's creation. LeBlanc says she hopes her fence serves as a moment of joy and reprieve for families as they navigate this new normal. It's a happy moment to see the children and the families enjoying the wall. It's very heartwarming to see the reaction of people and their joy. It's about humanity right now. If we can incorporate a little bit of humanity and kindness in our world, I am all for it, LeBlanc said. The idea for the Learning Fence began percolating 3 years ago. In a different form, she said, LeBlanc had been gathering educational materials and conducting needs assessments for a new education-focused nonprofit, Mabel's Table, inspired by her work as a foster mother. LeBlanc said many of the children she's cared for have suffered from a lack of self-confidence and educational support. The children were struggling in school and were performing below grade level. They've been through a lot, and she wanted to give them and other at-risk children an opportunity to learn in their home environments. That's when the idea for Mabel's Table was born, she said. The goal is for the nonprofit to serve as a pop-up learning center in children's neighborhoods. Mabel's Table is organized around 4 pillars: English language arts, STEM, growth mindset, and health and fitness. And LeBlanc was finalizing the curricula around each topic when the coronavirus schools closure struck. Lafayette resident says that she realized she was sitting on a wealth of materials that can help children during the school shutdown, instead of collecting dust in her workshop. She gathered up the materials, made a few changes, and brought them to Office Depot for laminating to help the posters hold up against the weather. Then LeBlanc stapled them to her fence, sent a note to families in her neighborhood's Facebook group, and waited. In these extremely uncertain times, parents are taking on the responsibility of teaching their children while under extreme stress. They might be stressed about their finances, their jobs, their health. There's one thing we can help with as a community to take some of the burden off parents and teachers and give them an outlet outside the home. I think that's very beneficial to the parents and the children, she said. LeBlanc works in pharmaceutical sales and pops outside between conference calls to wipe down the posters and sanitize the dry erase markers each day, she said. 2 metal pails marked dirty and clean hang from the fence so families don't have to touch used markers and can avoid the spread of germs. The current posters are geared toward elementary and middle school children. The signs cover opposites and positional words like up and down, the alphabet, the ancient civilizations of Greece, Rome, and Egypt. Addition, multiplication, and how to show kindness to yourself and others. LeBlanc says she plans to add posters covering science and fitness soon. Future editions include a chart of the solar system, maps of the world and the United States, and prompts to encourage children to exercise, like do 10 toe touches or hop on 1 foot. She's also adding a writing board where children can leave notes to others and make suggestions for the wall. Learning doesn't have to stop because schools are closed, she said. It allows them to think outside the box and shows them that you can have a classroom anywhere. The Lafayette resident has plans to expand the concept to other areas of town. LeBlanc says she's been approached by partners who like to see fences in their neighborhoods, and she plans to construct pop-up learning labs in at least 3 more areas. She's currently securing locations, she said. It wasn't what she planned, but the Learning Fence initiative may become the launch pad for future Mabel's Tables pop-ups, she said. It's given me the confidence to know this is something people need, LeBlanc said. Okay, let's turn to another PSA. This time it's about, it's keeping calm throughout this pandemic. So as I mentioned before, there is a COVID hotline locally. If you're feeling overwhelmed with stress, fear, and anxiety about the uncertainty surrounding the public health emergency, there is a special Keeping Calm Through COVID hotline you can call. This connects you to trained, compassionate counselors who can offer support and who can direct you to mental health and substance abuse counseling services. Trained counselors available 24/7. All calls are confidential. I guess this is nationwide. Call 1-866-310-7977. That's 1-866-310-7977. Medical resources. If you have lost your job, or you have reduced hours, you may be eligible for Medicaid. You can apply online at mymedicaid.la.gov. That's mymedicaid.la.gov. You can also apply by phone by calling 1-888-342-6207 or by mail by sending information to Louisiana Medicaid, P.O. Box 91283, Baton Rouge, LA 70821. Local Medicaid offices are currently closed to the public. If additional assistance is needed, you can call 1-888-342-6207. Okay? And it's at this point in the broadcast we'll go to our day in history and horoscope. So today is Monday, April 19th, the 104th day of 2020. There are 262 potential shopping days left in the year. Today's highlight in history: on April 13th, 1964, Sidney Poitier became the first Black performer in a leading role to win an Academy Award for his performance in Lilies of the Field. It's a fantastic film. Since everybody's at home and spending some time watching movies, see if you can pull up Lilies of the Field. It's actually one of my personal favorites. Check it out. On this date in 1860, the Pony Express completed its inaugural run from St. Joseph, Missouri to Sacramento, California in 10 days. In 1861, at the start of the Civil War, Fort Sumter in South Carolina fell to Confederate forces. In 1970, April 13th, 4/5 of the way to the moon was crippled when a tank containing liquid oxygen burst. The astronauts managed to return safely. In 1986, Pope John Paul II visited the Great Synagogue of Rome, and the first recorded papal visit of its kind to a Jewish house of worship. In 1992, the Great Chicago Flood took place as the city's century-old tunnel system and adjacent basements filled with water from the Chicago River. The Bridges of Madison County, a romance novel by Robert James Waller, was published by Warner Books. 1997, Tiger Woods became the youngest person to win the Masters tournament and the first player of partly African heritage to claim a major golf title. In 2006, confessed al-Qaeda conspirator Zacarias Muzare expressed no remorse for his role in the 9/11 attacks as he took the stand for the second time in his death penalty trial in Alexandria, Virginia. 10 years ago, world leaders concluded a 47-nation nuclear security conference in Washington, endorsing President Barack Obama's call for securing all of the globe's vulnerable nuclear materials within 4 years by offering few specifics for achieving that goal. 5 years ago, a federal judge in Washington sentenced former Blackwater security guard Nicholas Slayton to life in prison and 3 others to 30-year terms for their roles in a 2007 shooting in Baghdad's Nisour Square that killed 14 Iraqi civilians and wounded 17 others. 1 year ago, leaders of Morehouse College in Atlanta, the country's only all-male historically black college, said the school would begin admitting transgender men under a policy change approved by the Board of Trustees. Today's birthdays, we have actor Edward Fox is 83, actor Paul Sorvino is 81. We have a movie TV composer Bill Conte is 78. Rock musician Jack Cassidy from Jefferson Airplane and Hot Tuna is 76. Actor Tony Dow is 75. Singer Al Green, one of my faves, is 74. Actor Ron Perlman is 70. Bluegrass singer-musician Sam Bush, 68. Bob Casey Jr., Democrat out of Pennsylvania, is 60. Chess Grandmaster Gary Kasparov is 57. Actress Paige Hannah is 56. Actress comedian Caroline Rhea is 56. And baseball outfielder Hunter Pence is 37, while actress Hannah Marks is 27. Thought for today: in the landscape of instinction, precision is next to godliness. Quote from Samuel Beckett, Irish poet and playwright, born this date in 1906, died in 1989. All right, looking at our horoscope for today. Aries, please pay attention to detail, be precise about what you are willing to contribute, handle matters personally. Don't let someone take credit for something you did. Taurus, be open to suggestions, expanding your knowledge and outlook will encourage growth and a better understanding of what makes you happy. Let your curiosity lead you in a new direction. Geminis, your emotions will be running high. Most of our emotions right now are running high. Don't say something you will regret. Concentrate on personal improvement instead of to change others. Avoid joint ventures. Cancer, be receptive to change and explore the unfamiliar. What you learn will help you adjust to inevitable solutions or situations. Don't ever overreact. Be a teacher, not a tyrant. Leo, take on realistic projects. Be ready to adjust to changing rules and regulations. How you handle others will determine the results of your efforts. Take action and honor your promises. Virgo, explore what life has to offer. Change you make today will be an investment to your future. Don't limit what you can do or deny yourself something you deserve. Libras, don't let anyone interfere with your plans. Take care of responsibilities quickly and move on to what matters to you most. Your dedication and determination will help you reach your goal. Scorpios, set off on a journey that will help you discover more about yourself, your family, and the changes you need to make to find peace of mind and happiness. Sagittarius, ask questions, verify information, and take care of business. Rely on experience when it comes to partnerships and how you live to ensure that you avoid unnecessary emotional or financial mistakes. Capricorn, don't give in to temptation or risky offers. If you desire change, do something that makes your space more comfortable and stress-free. Focus on fitness and a healthy lifestyle. Aquarius, plan your schedule carefully. Don't neglect to take care of what's essential. Spending time and money on what makes you happy isn't a waste. Romance will improve your life. Pisces, finally, when we go to Pisces, be suspicious of anyone pushing you to do something you don't want to do. It's okay to say no and to do your own thing. Trust your instincts. And as always, the horoscope is an entertainment feature, not based on scientific fact. All right? All right. Okay, before we move on, let's go to another PSA. Stop the spread, call instead. For the latest COVID-19 updates and information, you can visit www.311lafayette.services. Call centers with volunteers and medical professionals are active 24/7 to answer your questions about COVID-19 and to determine if you need to get screened. You may also call 311 and press option 2 if you are a business owner, employee, or looking for a job to get information about applying for small business recovery loans, apply for unemployment benefits, and related programs. So stop the spread, call instead. And continuing, free lunches will be served daily starting at 11 a.m. at the Robichaux Center located at 1919 ERAS Landry Road. I would call there first just to make sure they're still passing out lunches. But as of now, the Robichaux Recreation Center is open for to-go lunches. Only a limited number of lunches are available for pickup for individuals who are suddenly, and no fault of their own, unemployed or underemployed due to the COVID-19 crisis. Lunches will be served again starting at 11 a.m. Lunches will be served from Walk On Sports Bistro, compliments of Drew Brees, and the Breeze Dream Foundation. These lunches are on a first-come, first-served basis. Thanks to the Lafayette Fire Department for helping to distribute meals and Lafayette Police Department for helping with traffic and security. And the Robichaux Recreation Center is located in 1919 Eras Landry Road. Okay, continuing with the news. Data points to commuters' effect on virus spread by Mike Ballard, Capitol Bureau editor. Baton Rouge and Acadiana will still get hit hard by the community spread of the novel coronavirus, but Louisiana will be spared the most intense infection rates New Orleans experienced in March, largely because people are staying home from work, and analysis of the commuter figures indicate. The most intense hotspots have confirmed cases of the often deadly COVID-19, started in New Orleans, then spread along commuter routes into the city's suburbs. The daily hotspots moved to Jefferson and St. Tammany, then St. John the Baptist and St. Charles parishes, according to a comparison of the Louisiana Department of Health reports and the counts collected by the American Association of State Highway and Transportation Officials and the U.S. Census Bureau. The program is a planning tool designed to show travel flow between home and work. The commuter reports also document that far more people from far more parishes come to work in Baton Rouge than in New Orleans. The commuter statistics indicate the virus would have blossomed out across the state from Baton Rouge, but for the governor's stay-at-home order issued after seeing what was happening in the New Orleans metro area, said Dr. Catherine O'Neill, who teaches infectious diseases at the LSU Medical School and is chief medical officer at the Our Lady of Lourdes Regional Medical Center in Baton Rouge. If we had not sheltered in place, if New Orleans had a lower level of positives that wouldn't have alerted officials, then the cat would have gotten out of the bag, O'Neill said. It's not like we're a good spot, but the stay-in place slows it down, not just for Baton Rouge, but for Bunkie, Eunice, and Ville Platte. We're watching the entire state, Governor John Bel Edwards told reporters Friday, after noting that the New Orleans area is seeing improvements. We want to make sure everybody is heading in the right direction. Some areas of the states are behind them, but the capital area is growing at a slightly less alarming rate than New Orleans did. The coronavirus outbreak was first recognized in December in Wuhan, China. On January 30th, the spread of the coronavirus was considered an international public health emergency, and by March 11th was recognized as a pandemic. The virus spreads easily, apparently traveling through the air in tiny droplets when an infected person breathes, talks, coughs, or squeezes. We all know this information by now, but it's good to keep it in our heads. That's why all the precautions, such as frequent hand washing, stay-at-home directives, and limits to gatherings of more than 10 people were put in place. Louisiana's first positive test was March 9th in New Orleans. The spread of the disease grew exponentially, causing Edwards to close casinos and suspend schools. Edwards then joined a number of states by ordering everyone but essential workers stay at home starting March 23rd. That order has been extended to at least April 30th, which will keep thousands of businesses closed and schools. But for 2 weeks, 93,086 people commuted into New Orleans for work, nearly all of them from 8 parishes in 2 Mississippi counties, according to the AASHTO Census Bureau figures. Of that number, 54,438 drove into the city from Jefferson Parish, and another 14,221 crossing Interstate 10 Twin Span and the Lake Pontchartrain Causeway from St. Tammany for their jobs. The number of people testing positive for coronavirus infections in Orleans Parish increased to 95 on March 17th and to 827 a week later. New Orleans charted 5,600 cases with 235 deaths on Sunday. More tests became available during the time period, but at the same time, the color-coded maps used by the Federal Centers for Disease Control and Prevention showed blue circles growing even darker, indicating higher concentrations of confirmed COVID-19 cases in suburban communities along I-10. The numbers in Jefferson Parish showed a jump from 7 on March 14th to 90 on March 20th, just 3 days later, and was 6 days later, and 744 positive cases a week later. Jefferson had 4,999 confirmed cases on Sunday, while St. Tammany, whose numbers also escalated over a similar time period, had 864 cases on Sunday. St. John's Parish, just across the Bon Carré spillway from Jefferson Parish, saw its numbers start to dramatically increase about 4 days later on March 24th. On Friday, the parish had the highest per capita death in the U.S. East Baton Rouge Parish went from 1 case on March 18th to 105 confirmations on March 26th. As of Sunday, 25 days after the first discovery, East Baton Rouge had 1,223 cases. About twice as many drivers as New Orleans commute from 276 locales to work in Baton Rouge. Another 23,009 Baton Rouge residents head out to work in 39 other parishes. Suburban communities, particularly in Ascension Parish, are charting high positive tests, but not at the same steep rate as the New Orleans suburbs. About 2,300 drivers go between in Baton Rouge and Lafayette, the largest commuter flow between two Louisiana cities, while about 1,500 workers travel between Baton Rouge and New Orleans for work, the second largest. Community statistics are not part of the predictive modeling Louisiana uses. The governor's modeling generally has been aimed at projecting peaks, the number of cases under various scenarios. What happens if schools and workplaces close, for instance, then comparing these predictions with available hospital beds and equipment. The administration is using statistical analysis system software that begins with healthcare officials' calculation for how many people a single sick person would infect under different scenarios. The software generally takes various statistics and executes analytic algorithms that can predict various outcomes for officials to analyze. The state also uses R software, which more easily can turn the numbers into graphs. Edwards said last week the result of Louisiana's sheltering in place directive is a decrease, in that number mathematically from 3 to 4 other people being affected by a single person to below 2. Aileen Neal, the health department spokeswoman, said commuter information is not incorporated into Louisiana's models, though officials have noted that the well-respected models created by Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore does include such data. The state is looking forward to partnering soon with Johns Hopkins, she said. While we do not collect or track or spread by communities specifically, the Department of Health and the governor has said repeatedly we believe COVID-19 to be in every parish of the state. It's because we are concerned about the spread that the governor put in place and then extended the stay-at-home order, Neal said. Louisiana turns eyes to immunity testing. Governor says state critically important in state's recovery, by Jessica Williams and Sam Carlin. While testing for coronavirus infections ramping up across Louisiana, political leaders and hospital officials are starting to look ahead to a new type of test that will let patients know if they've developed immunity to the virus. And we talked about that earlier. But here's what Governor Bill Edwards and the state are saying. Unlike the test now on the market used to confirm that someone with symptoms does in fact have COVID-19, the blood test, officially a serology test, is used to establish whether someone has developed antibodies to the disease after infection. Gauging that immunity is critically important when making decisions about loosening stay-at-home orders and other restrictions, Governor John Bel Edwards said last week. Health experts have cautioned that restrictions won't soon be lifted, even though recent days have offered hope. The state has started to flatten the curve and slow the spread of disease. Deaths linked to coronavirus statewide rose 34 on Sunday to 840, the smallest increase since April 1st. Through the weekend, figures tend to be lighter, and experts have warned not to read too much into single-day fluctuations. The number of patients with COVID-19 in hospitals 2,084 rose by 17 patients. Washington Health System executives said last week they had ordered serology tests and expect them to arrive within 2 weeks. Representatives from Tulane Medical Center and LCMC Health have said they were also interested in the new test. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention began a pilot program in March to roll out serology testing on random samples of people in cities deemed COVID-19 hotspots. On Friday, CDC spokesman Scott Pawley said the first stage of that program is focusing on Washington State and New York City. The feds have said a second stage is coming in the summer. Thus far, the state has only tracked coronavirus cases by the number of people who are sick enough to be tested and by those who have died. Tests are typically only given to those with fever, severe shortness of breath, but studies have suggested that many people might be affected by the coronavirus and never show symptoms. The test can also help doctors identify immune people who can donate plasma to dangerously sick COVID-19 patients, a treatment the Federal Food and Drug Administration have said may help, Edwards said. It's not clear how many Louisiana hospitals are doing the plasma transfusions, only recently given the nod by the FDA. But within at least one Louisiana medical facility, the serology testing is underway, but on a very small scale. The fact and studies of the new strain that causes the COVID-19 suggest that people won't get reinfected quickly. Still, we don't fully know. And that's a quote by Dr. Preeti Malani, a member of the Infectious Diseases Society of America and a University of Michigan infectious disease physician. Potential pitfalls aside, U.S. Senator Bill Cassidy, Republican of Louisiana, said the blood tests remain one of the best possible indicators of whether Louisiana can brighten its presently grim jobs outlook and restart life as residents know it. It's part of the way we begin to reopen our economy, Cassidy said at a recent online town hall hosted by the Times-Picayune and the New Orleans Advocate. Staff writers Jeff Adelson and Brian Stoll contributed to this report. Getting away from the coronavirus news for a moment, Easter storm sweeps south, at least 3 dead by the Associated Press. Strong storms pounded the deep south on Sunday, killing at least 3 people in South Mississippi, damaging up to 300 homes and other buildings in northern Louisiana. Medical Emergency Management Agency Director Craig Mitchell said one person killed was in Walthall County and 2 were killed in Lawrence County. Both are more than an hour's drive south of Jackson, near the Louisiana state line. National Weather Service says strong winds were sweeping through other parts of Mississippi, and a tornado was spotted north of Meridian near the Alabama state line. Monroe Mayor Jamie Mayo said the storm damaged 200 to 300 homes in and around their city. Flights were canceled at Monroe Regional Airport, where siding was ripped off buildings and debris was scattered on runways. Airport Director Ron Phillips said the storm caused up to $30 million damage to planes inside a hangar. In Morgan County, Alabama, a church roof and steeple were damaged by lightning Sunday afternoon. Morgan County Emergency Management Agency Eddie Hicks said Shoals Creek Baptist Church in Priceville was struck by lightning about 12:45 p.m. No injuries were reported. The Weather Service said a broader area from East Texas to the East Coast was under at least a marginal risk of storms. Okay, and we're into our final minutes. of the broadcast this morning. So let's read a couple more PSAs. LIDA, individuals whose hours are being reduced at work or have been laid off from employment may qualify for unemployment insurance benefits. If you're attempting to apply for unemployment insurance and are not able to access an existing online account or need help resetting your password, call Lafayette's Acadiana Workforce Solutions Office at 337-262-5601. Due to the high call volume, some calls may not be answered immediately. Call again at a later time or contact one of Louisiana's other local offices for assistance at laworks.net/wfd/ajc_contacts.pdf. In addition to unemployment insurance benefits, individuals looking for supplemental income can consider local employment opportunities with businesses who are seeking temporary, part-time, and full-time workers by visiting the COVID-19 Help Wanted resource page at www.lafayette.org/helpwanted, or LIDA's virtual job fair page for local businesses seeking to help hire local candidates for full-time employment opportunities at lafayette.org/jobs. And in the entertainment news or entertainment PSA, Downtown Alive house sessions are a series of stay-at-home Friday night concerts for Acadiana, presented by Evangeline Mann, organized by Downtown Lafayette. I've been checking in the last couple of weeks, and it's very interesting to see these musicians set up at their home and give us music, which is very important in this time when musicians, full-time musicians, are losing their gigs left and right. We should definitely support that part of our very vibrant culture here in the Acadiana area. The house sessions are a way for all of us to help Acadiana musicians who are out of work during the ongoing coronavirus situation. The series will support local musicians and make staying home fun. So this Friday at 7 p.m., join us for Corey Leday. Be quiet, Siri. Hearing live on the Downtown Alive Facebook page and heard on AOC 1, Cox 15, LUS 3, and streaming at aocinc.org/watch. Corey Leday is a friend of mine. Ledette, I think it's pronounced. I say Leday, but it's Ledette. Check out Corey Ledette. He's fantastic. Accordion players, so check them out. That's this Friday, starting at 7 p.m. at Downtown Alive Facebook page or at aocinc.org. And about wrapping up time, let's see if I can get in a sports story. Making plans for the summer. Team Louisiana director hoping summer baseball can fill void for seniors by Kevin Foote. Now that the high school baseball season is officially over, the focus for some turns to hopes of playing summer baseball. Much has been lost for the 2020 senior baseball class, but Team Louisiana baseball founder and director Jeremy Picard is planning on a summer program providing some much needed relief. Picard is hoping to begin playing summer ball the first weekend in June. Can't do anything right now until we see what happens with the stay-at-home order, Picard said. If it's lifted April 30th, we have plans for the month of May. Start inviting our guys to work out, trying to get them back in a groove again because they haven't been doing much baseball since the end of February. We're planning on moving forward as is, but basically we're kind of like everybody else. We're in a wait and see mode. Team Louisiana, which began in 2011, has two levels to it. There's the youth level, kids 8 to 14, primarily from Lafayette and Vermilion Parish. Then there are 8 high school age teams made up of college prospects from around the state. Typically, the summer plan is to play an in-state circuit in June, mostly at university fields like UL's Teague Moore Field, to give college coaches a better chance of scouting the talent. So everything will be kind of magnified this summer. assuming we get to play, especially that 2020 class, that this is our last chance, and even the 2021 class, which is going into the senior season, basically being unseen all year. Then there are potential obstacles besides the economic downturn because of the coronavirus shutdown. Facility access could be an issue this summer. While Picard waits for the opportunity to serve, he's had to put his thinking cap on. It's just going to be a different summer, he said. I'm planning to do some things out of the ordinary just to let these kids play. But of course, all of that will be dictated come April 30th with hopefully good news. And let's all hope that April 30th does bring us some kind of good news. But be prepared in case it doesn't. So that about wraps it up. We're a few minutes beyond our televised audio portion of broadcast this morning. You can still listen to me if you're tuned into our YouTube station or Cypress Street Radio streaming radio station. You can hear my wonderful voice. And I will be with you most of this week. I believe I will be taking a break on Thursday, but I will be with you most of this week, keeping the community aware of what's going on for those who are visually impaired or for those who don't get the newspaper or have access to the news cycle. I am here to provide that source of information to you. Gladly do it. If you are interested, once this pandemic has eased off and we have some normalcy, whatever that normal is, they're calling it the new normal. Hopefully we'll get back into the studios. And if you are interested, and have been hearing me do this broadcast for a few weeks now, you can become a reader just like me. And it's a very fun thing to do. It's great if you're anything of a broadcaster or a potential actor. It's fantastic for enunciation and pronunciation, especially those last names. Sometimes are tongue twisters, but it's really good just if you're interested in volunteering and doing something special for the community. We always enjoy having new volunteers come join us. You sit in, you shadow myself or another broadcaster who's been reading the news for some time, and then you get all excited about it, and we fit you into the schedule. So please participate in that. You can go to aocinc.org to sign up if you're at all interested. So I just want to say thank you for listening, tuning in this morning. Stay healthy, stay safe, and above all, stay with your loved ones. Keep in contact with your loved ones, with your friends. The last couple of days, I've been reaching out to my very close friends, making sure that they're okay. That's something that keeps your interest alive and keeps you alive, keeps you in contact with everybody that is near and dear to your heart. And there's all kinds of platforms now like Zoom, so you can connect with others. So please continue every day making some sort of human connection, outside of your family. Of course, keeping social distancing and all the other regulations in place. Just stick with it, folks. We'll get through this. You have a great day. Thank you for listening. Be kind to each other.